Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren Maley, and I'm with National American University. Today, I am joined by alumnus Lawrence McCall, who is the Chief of Police in Marlin, Texas. Lawrence, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do?
Well, I started my career off in the Chicago area where I'm from. I went to Proviso East High School where we had a lot of athletes. Went on to the NBA and NFL, but I knew that that wasn't my passion. So I was a victim of a violent crime in the Houston area, and the only thing that made me feel good was when I heard those police sirens coming. And when they finally got there, they kind of relaxed me a little bit. So I knew that's what I wanted because I wanted to help people when they was victims of traumatic crimes. Um, and also I took on the notion that I want to protect people who couldn't protect themselves. Then I joined the police department. I started in the Chicago area, like um, went to the Dallas area and was deputy constable, but I was assigned to a task force, and I moved my way up from a regular deputy to a detective onto the assistant commander of a task force, Dallas County Sheriff Emissions Task Force. And from that, I came to Marlin as the police chief. And right now, I'm trying to rebuild, restructure, and reorganize a police department. And while in the meantime, creating relationships with the community, which I think is very important. So that's what I'm doing now.
So you earned your degree at NAU. What was that degree in?
I earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Then I earned a master's degree in management with emphasis in.
All right, and why did you choose to go to NAU?
Well, in NAU, it sparked my interest because I knew someone that went there as well, and I liked the online. For me working 16, 17 hours a day, and I had the flexibility to work all day and then come home, and I had a nice setup. I wish you could see my office now at work, but it's a setup. I have the big screens, and I had two big screens, and I was able to use my laptop and go between the screens. So that made it a lot easier. It's like a command center, But I was able to do that while I was at home. So I had the same setup I have in my office. I had it at home, and I liked it. Sometimes when you work all day, in order for you to unwind, that was my way of unwinding. Was going into my office at home and doing my homework. And I was very fortunate because I was a little older. They NAU allowed me to go back to school when I was a little older. I
Mhm.
didn't feel comfortable about going into the classroom, sitting with I call them the young Thundercats, these young people, and because my focus would have been off, but I was able to get the lessons, and my instructors were some top notch instructors. Um, Dr. Ben Strait
Mhm.
was to me. We had conversations, about life, not only about criminal justice, but about life, and that meant a lot to me. He gave me a lot of inspirations when I wanted to quit, when I wanted to give up. So I owe a lot to him.
So you felt like even though you were in that online environment, you could still build relationships with your professors and with the faculty?
Most definitely. Yes, ma'am. Most definitely, because I was older and I already went to college and it didn't work out. So when I got older and was able to get into the workforce and realized that I needed education because everyone around me that was in higher positions had their degrees, and I had to realize that in order for me to propel my career, I needed to first get my bachelor's degree, and
Mhm.
then that wasn't, I was never satisfied. I was never complacent. So I went on to get my master's, and I wanted to do everything through one university, but unfortunately I couldn't continue after my master's with NAU.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still mad about that though.
Well, maybe we'll work on extending our programs.
I'll just kidding. Yes, ma'am.
So you said you would be working 16, 17 hours days and would come home and then do your schoolwork. How did you stay motivated?
Going to school was the only thing that kept my sanity, because, you have to, I leave home from a structured environment to work in the streets and not knowing, who is who. My auntie told me once when I was younger that, that I could walk amongst kings and queens, but never lose the common touch. And that I still tell my young guys that I talk to today, treat people with respect, do what you're supposed to do. And I always remember that people are watching. So I had to remember people was watching me as I was maneuvering through life. And what kept me motivated was going to school. NAU gave me an opportunity to go to school and fulfill a dream that I always thought I should have did when I was younger, but sometimes life bring about a change in you. Sometimes it's a forcible change, but it is a needed change. And through that getting get my education, because people can take your job from you, they can take your mind from you.
That's incredibly true. Was there any experience that really stood out to you while you were studying at NAU?
I had a good experience. I can't say that anything was horrible. I called my advisor. They always answered. I called I emailed them, but that's what I'm saying. I was older, so when I was younger, I was too cool to call and ask. But I got older, and I was like, look, I'm paying for this. They giving me some type of stipend for this. Plus I was in the military. I was in the Marine Corps, and I know that NAU is a big supporter of the military,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a plus. So but I knew that if I'm paying for it, I better settle down and do the best I can. In high school, I was a CD student, but in NAU, when I finally settled down, I was an AB student, and I think I graduated with a 3.8, and my mama was like, huh, what? Get you to sit down and at the kitchen table. Now you a B 3.8, okay, and I'm gonna tell you was my mom didn't know. Once I finished my bachelor's, she gave me a hand clap, but she didn't know that I continued my education for my master's. So I invited her up. I had finished already, and I invited her up because she's staying near South Texas, in the Houston area. So I invited her up to Dallas, and I told her, bring something nice. I want to take you out, and she came. And so the day I was graduating from with my master's, supposed to be in Austin, Texas, right? But they asked me to be I was receiving an award for a distinguished alumni award, and they asked me to do the speech, the commencement speech. So I changed it from Austin to the Louisville campus in the Dallas area. So I invited her up, and she came, and my youngest two daughters went with me because I had to get there early. So my wife brought her, and it was at a church. It was a big church, so it was real nice. But they lined everyone up, and the president of the school, all the big wigs, as they call them, there, and me, right? How you walk in with everyone. Mm-hmm. So friends was there, and when she realized what it was when the music came on, and they gave her the programs, of course, but she's like, well, whose graduation is it? And no one told her. So we walked in, and I'm behind everyone. So she was like, well, "What is he doing? What is, that's the professor." So that's when she realized that I was graduated with my master's, and also that I was getting an alumni, distinguished alumni award. And she, so when doing my speech, she always said I talked a lot, which you probably could tell now. But she said you talk too much, So when they introduced me, I went up to the microphone and I she said you talk so much like a preacher, right? Like a pastor. So it was at a big church, and I had a robe on. So when and I thanked them for allowing me to speak to my peers, in a setting such as this. I said, but hold on. I said, where's my mother? So I heard one of my friends say, here she is right here. So I turned to her, I said, hey, mama. I said, you always said I should be a preacher. How you like me now? Right? So it was in the pulpit. They died laughing. Everybody died laughing over that. That was funny. That was, NAU was great for me. It gave me an opportunity to be something that I never thought I was going to be.
Does your mom know you're pursuing your doctorate right now?
She does now. She does now. She told me don't ever do her like that again. Be prepared. But my dad passed in 2006. But prior to that, he had all kind of heart problems and he was ill. So both my parents was educators, and they taught, and my father coached. But before he got sick, she started the doctorate program to receive her doctorate. Mm-hmm. But once she got sick, she couldn't do it. I didn't know it until I started my program. So we talking one day, and I was telling her that I'm getting good grades. I almost I'm halfway finished, and this and that and this. And she was like, well, I started my doctorate. I was in the Marines when she started it, so I didn't really, I couldn't talk to her for a little while. So I said, did you? So she showed me actually later on, but she said I started right here, and that's when I realized I was in the Marines. And she said that I had to stop doing it because your dad got sick. So I was like, well, Mom, I'm gonna tell you, we always been a team. And I don't live my life for just me. I live it for us, for my family. I said, this doctor is not for me. It's for you. It's for us. And she cried about it. But I was like, well, sometimes you have to, on a relay race, you have to pass the torch. And that's what I'm doing as far as my education, as far as my career. I'm just passing the torch. I'm only here for a minute. I tell people I have more years behind me than I had ahead of me. So I'm just doing my part as best I can. I'm an advocate of training. I make sure that our guys know what they need in order to get their police certifications. I go to the community college and the universities, and I try to set up programs for our police officers to continue their education. I say I don't want to be the smartest one in the room. And not saying I am, but I don't want to be the smartest. I want everyone. If we take a picture, if I have 7 guys, we all have on suits. I don't have my stars on, and nobody know that I'm the chief of police. But I want people to try to figure out who's the leader. All of us standing there, and that's how I want my command staff. I just hired someone that, I've been policing probably 22 years. He's been policing 30 years. Retired, not retired. Yeah, retired police chief. 20-some years detective, but he wanted to come back to work, so I hired him. People was asking me, why would you hire someone that could take your job? I was like, well, I don't want to be the smartest one in the room. If he can come in and add to the team, then that's what I want. God have me. It's more to it than just. It's not about me. If somebody can do the job for me and help the community, that's what I want. But a fight gonna go with it though. So we good.
So for other people in your situation that you said you went back to school, you were an adult and you felt like being older helped you through
Right.
your education journey,
Right.
do you recommend going back to school and specifically the online programs like NAU offers? Would you recommend that for others?
I would, especially now. Look what we're going through right now. Everyone's quarantined.
Mhm.
You have to continue to get educated. You have to continue to educate yourself. And I think that this is our new normal.
Mhm.
It's old for you because you work at the university. It's
Mhm.
old for me because I did it for the last 8, 9 years. From NAU to my doctorate program. But it's normal for us. But someone that's used to going to a brick and mortar, sitting there and logging into a computer, you have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined when everything around you is moving and it's beautiful outside, it's nice and it's hot, but you have to do your homework. You have to go in and log in and do your questions and do whatever wherever you at. That's hard, but you have to be disciplined and dedicated. Because if you want it, then you'll do it. But if you don't want it, it's going to be wasting your time, So you have to be dedicated to what you want, and I always tell people, when every morning when you wake up, when you look in that mirror, you're looking at your biggest challenger. So if you can look at the mirror and know that that's your biggest challenger, getting on that computer and doing what as far as your bachelor's, what they give to you, and you have to do your research and give it and present it back to them. That's the easy part. I think that it's easier for me to go to work, come home, log in, do my work, go to the refrigerator, go get me a plate, do this, do that, watching TV over here when I want to take a break and do something during the commercials. You know what I mean? It was a lot easier instead of me going to work, driving another 20 minutes outside of my, direction of travel that I'm supposed to go in, sit there for an hour or two, drive back. I mean, it's easier. I think this is our new normal. Now, I'm pretty sure that these young kids that's in school now with the iPads and their computer, they're not gonna want to go back to school. Not especially when you can work ahead. You get all your assignments. It's easier. It's research. Now the communication might be a little different, but I think that online education going to take a hike. It's going to go up, especially when, it depends on where you at and what you can afford.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Chief McCall. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
That's it.
Yep, that's
That's it.
it.
Wow. Um, I'm really grateful for the opportunity that NAU provided for me. It helped me um, get jobs. It helped me like this job right here as a chief. Having a bachelor's is one thing, but then when I had my master's, that sometimes that even the playing field, right? But then now that I have better understanding of online, I went back and I completed the doctorate program, and I'm writing my dissertation now, going back and forth with the committees, but that propelled me to a level that others are not too many, and it's just my opinion of it, but not too many people, chiefs of police had a doctorate. So it's a game plan that I'm trying to lay out, and God has provided me a means and a way, and I thank Him every day.
Well, I know that we love your story, and Dr. Straight is the one who recommended we reach out to you. And I had
Oh,
seen,
didn't I tell you he was good?
yep.
Did I tell you he was good? Oh my God.
And I've read the article about when you became chief of police in Marlin. We shared that article because our director of alumni was also like, look at this guy, look how awesome he is, and was sharing
Right.
that with
Thank
us.
you.
So
Thank you. I don't know if you can see. Can you see? No, you can't see it, but at the bottom, that's the NAU. My bachelor's right there on it. That's it. I have my master on the other side, but I represent everywhere I go for NAU. Y'all hiring? I need a job. Y'all hiring?
Well, thank you so much for your enthusiasm. It's been awesome having you on today.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
And
I want to
everyone,
tell you, I want to tell you thank you for your time, but the pleasure was all mine.
and to everybody that was able to tune in, thank you for listening and look forward to more videos.